The teen hacker who shocked the internet before social media took over the world, before smartphones ruled everyday life. There was one teenager who terrified some of the most powerful systems in America. His name was Kevin Mitnick. And by the time the FBI finally caught up to him, he had already become one of the most wanted hackers on Earth. But Kevin Mitnick didn't start out as some criminal mastermind. He started as a curious kid. A teenager fascinated by phones, computers, and the hidden systems running behind the scenes of everyday life. Back in the 1970s and 80s, computers weren't everywhere like they are today. The internet was still mysterious. Most people barely understood what a hacker even was. But Kevin Mitnick saw something nobody else saw. He realized that information was power. And once he discovered how systems worked, he became obsessed with testing their limits. At first, it started small. Kevin learned how phone systems operated. He studied bus punch cards. He figured out tricks that allowed him to ride public transportation for free. To most people, it sounded harmless. But what nobody realized was that Kevin's mind worked differently. He wasn't just breaking rules. He was learning how to outsmart entire systems. And once computers entered the picture, everything changed. Kevin quickly became known for breaking into networks that were supposed to be impossible to access. He hacked into major corporations, telecommunication companies, computer systems, and even government networks. Not because he wanted money, not because he wanted fame, but because he wanted the challenge. That's what made Kevin Mitnick so dangerous. He didn't need violence. He didn't need weapons. All he needed was a keyboard. And one of the scariest things about Kevin Mitnick was the way he manipulated people. He became a master of something called social engineering. Instead of attacking computers directly, Kevin often tricked employees into giving him passwords, access codes, and confidential information. He could pretend to be a technician, a company employee, even someone from security, and people believed him. Because Kevin understood something most hackers didn't. The weakest part of any system was human trust. As his reputation grew, authorities started taking him seriously, very seriously. By the early 1990s, Kevin Mitnick had become one of the FBI's top targets. The media painted him as a cyber ghost, a hacker capable of breaking into almost anything. Stories spread across America claiming he could launch nuclear missiles, shut down phone systems, or steal secrets from massive corporations. Some of those stories were exaggerated. But the fear surrounding Kevin Mitnick became very real. And then, he disappeared. Kevin went on the run. For years, authorities struggled to track him down. He moved from city to city, hiding his identity while continuing to hack into systems across the country. The hunt for Kevin Mitnick became one of the most famous cybercrime investigations in history. The FBI was desperate to stop him, but Kevin always seemed one step ahead, until one man finally helped bring him down. A computer security expert named Tsutomu Shimomura began tracking Kevin after his own systems were attacked. What followed became a real-life cyber war. Hackers, federal agents, phone traces, digital footprints. And one of the largest manhunts the internet world had ever seen. Finally, in 1995, the FBI located Kevin Mitnick in North Carolina. The legendary hacker was arrested, and the world exploded with headlines. America's most wanted hacker had finally been captured. But even after his arrest, the mystery surrounding Kevin Mitnick only grew bigger. Some people saw him as a dangerous criminal. Others saw him as a genius, a rebel. A warning about how vulnerable technology had become. Kevin eventually served years in prison. But after his release, some people saw him as a dangerous criminal. Others saw him as a genius, a rebel, a warning about how vulnerable technology had become. Kevin eventually served years in prison. But after his release, something unexpected happened. The hacker who once terrified corporations and federal investigators changed his life completely. Kevin Mitnick became a cybersecurity consultant. The same skills that once made him one of the most feared hackers in America were now being used to help protect systems instead of break into them. And to this day, the story of Kevin Mitnick remains legendary, because long before modern cyber warfare, long before hackers became global threats, one teenager shocked the world by proving something terrifying. No system is ever truly secure. And sometimes, the most dangerous weapon in the world is knowledge.